Hi everyone and welcome back to another live stream watch along on the Dibbly-Dobbly podcast. It's Australia versus Scotland, the last group match of match number 35 of this T20 World Cup, the last group match of Group B. And this game has been heavily talked about for obvious reasons between Australia and Scotland. We've just concluded the first innings and a good score from Scotland. They'll be very pleased with their efforts, 180 odd. Is it enough on a pitch that's been pretty good for batting? Probably not. 5 for 180 at the end of their 20 overs. They had a pretty good power play at the start. Very good power play, adding 54 runs for the loss of the one wicket. And the Australian bowlers, a different attack today for them. It was mainly a spin attack dominated by Ashton Agar, Glenn Maxwell and Adam Zampa, and then Stark and Ellis were the only two quicks for Australia today because Australia rested Hazlewood and Cummins. As expected that Australia would do that going into the Super 8s, which start next week. So Scotland, they should be pleased. 5 for 180 on this sort of surface. It's good for batting. It's a nice pitch, evenly paced. Not too many gremlins in the surface, not much spin either. The spinners found it tough at times. So I think Scotland will be pleased, but also a little bit disappointed as well. They could have got 190, maybe 200, I think. With their bowling attack, I think it's going to be a bit of a challenge with their medium pace bowling attack. That's not really going to challenge the Australian batters all that much. I think Australia will be eager to hit the power play well and get off to a very good start, like they did against Namibia the other day when they chased down only 70 odd runs in that game. This is a bit different, but at least Scotland have put themselves in a good position, and they know what they need to do. They need to win today. Scotland, they win today, they go through. They knock out England, who had a good win against Namibia this morning. And for Australia, it doesn't really matter if they lose today. They're already through to the Super 8s. Unknown says, Australia will win for sure. Yes, you would think so. Based on Scotland's batting, they batted really well. Good effort from them to get to this score. But Australia, on this sort of pitch with Scotland's bowlers, you would say Australia should probably get the job done. So Australia, 181. They need to win. For Scotland, they need to try and defend 180 if they are wanting to go through to the Super 8s. And Australia would be more than likely to probably upset the party if they are able to get the job done today. Pretty much if Australia win, they knock out Scotland, England go through, and then both Australia and England will progress from Group B. So we will know in 20 overs time where this game will go. Sawan joins us and says Scotland batted impressively. They did. They've batted really well in this tournament. They've batted really well. And today against Australia, be it against an Australian attack that was slightly changed, no Hazlewood and Cummins, but you still had Stark and Ellis and Adam Zampa. They batted really well on a pitch that helped the batters, of course. It was a pretty good surface to bat on from all reports. And Scotland, their bowlers will have a challenge of defending this because they know that the Australian batting lineup are capable of chasing big scores, as we've seen recently. But a good test for Australia today, I suppose. Going into the Super 8s, you may be chasing scores of 150 plus, possibly. And it's good practice. Travis Head, David Warner had a really good game against Namibia. They dispatched the Namibian bowlers to all parts in that game a few days ago. So Scotland will know that they'll have to try and quiet them down in some capacity. But they know what the job is. Head and Warner get off to a good start in the power play. First 6 overs would be crucial, as it always is. Get early wickets, get early runs, see what happens. And we will see what happens in the next 20 overs or so. Scotland walking out to the middle, led by their captain, Richie Berrington, who batted well today, got 40-odd. And the Australian opening batters are following suit in David Warner and Travis Head. So Australia, first time they're playing Scotland in a T20 International today for the first time. So Australia will need 181 off 9.05 runs to the over to win this game. And you would think that's doable on a pitch that has certainly helped the batters in this game thus far. We've seen no troubles at all from the surface, evenly paced, not much spin. Good crowd in St. Lucia that this game is played here at the Daren Sammy Cricket Stadium, of course. Daren Sammy, of course. T20 World Cup winning captain for the West Indies in 2016 and also currently West Indian coach. So it's going to be Travis Head on strike who takes guard, and he'll be on strike for this first over. David Warner at the non-striker's end. Travis Head, he's had a pretty good few months. Some good IPL for the Sunrisers Hyderabad. 500 runs in that tournament, and he's had a pretty good T20 World Cup thus far. He's made some good scores and good contributions. Big test for Scotland. Can they defend this? It's simple. They win today, they go through. They don't, they're out. And Australia will do England a favour. Bendover says, hopefully Australia lose and England get eliminated. Well, I don't think Australia will lose today. I think they will want to go for this. But a lot's been talked about this game, the implications, of course. But England, they needed to do what they needed to do, and that was to win. Early this morning, they did that against Namibia. And it's going to be spin for Scotland, first up. This one short, and Head punches it to the fielder at extra cover, no run. It's Leask, the spinner, who's into the attack. So Scotland going for spin in the first over, like Australia did. Leask in this one, turning away from Travis Head. Pass is off stump through the keeper, no run. Good start. Travis Head looking just to get his eye in and see what the pitch is doing. Leask is in. This one full and driven from Head past Leask down to a deep long off, and he will pick up a single. He's off the mark. Bendover says, something telling me Scotland is winning, but definitely seems like a close game. It's got that feel about it, but Australia, they will definitely back themselves, that's for sure. And you would think Scotland with Lisk in, this one full and driven by Warner, but to mid-on, and there's no run. Mitchell Marsh waiting. He's coming in next, the captain. Lisk is in. This one down the leg side, and Warner works it to square leg for a quick single off the hip, and he will get off the mark. And Australia, none for two. One ball left of the first service. A good start from Lisk in this first over. A bit risky bowling the spinner in the first over, but want to get it over out of the way. Lisk in, and this one defended comfortably by Head to the offside. No run. It's the end of the over. None for two. And Australia off and running in the run chase. 2 runs on the board, chasing 181 after Scotland did well to get to 180. They were able to get to that score. Is it enough? That remains to be seen. But so far, so good. It's going to be Wheel into the attack. He's going to be bowling the second over. Brad Wheel. He's going to be bowling from the pavilion end here at the Daren Sammy Stadium. He's only got 4 wickets in this T20 World Cup, Wheel, at an average of, or comedy rate of 6 and over. 3 for 34, his best figures. So he'll be hoping to get the job done here for Scotland, because they know that on this sort of surface, it's going to be difficult against the Australian bowlers. Wheel in. This one wraps Warner on the pads. Warner was trying to work it to the leg side, didn't connect, and the ball trickles out to the offside, and there's no run. On leg stump and just cramped the room. So good start from Wheel. David Warner. See, last T20 World Cup for David Warner, and before his retirement from T20 Internationals, Wheels in. This one skied in the air by Warner. Who's underneath it? The fielder is underneath it, takes the catch. Warner is gone for 1. It's 1 for 2. What a start for Scotland. A very good catch indeed. I don't know who it was, but we'll see in a minute. But David Warner trying to play the big shot, did not time it whatsoever, just skying this ball in the air. Yeah, trying to work it to the leg side, got a top edge in the end. And a very straightforward catch for the fielder there at cover. So David Warner gone for 1, caught by the captain, Richie Berrington. Bowled by Wheel. It's 1 for 2. As Mitchell Marsh makes his way out to the middle. Scotland. They've got an early wicket. They're up and about. And David Warner will be very disappointed with that dismissal. But that brings out the captain, Mitchell Marsh, to the middle. 181. Scotland need to defend if they can. Already good start. But you would think if Australia get a good partnership here, we saw Scotland lose a wicket early in the first over of their innings. And then a good partnership developed there for the second wicket. So a similar theme could happen here for Australia. On this surface, that's pretty good for batting. Not too many problems with the wicket. It looks pretty good. And Australia will be hoping just to add a partnership here. So England will be watching on very nervously in their hotel room in Antigua, where they finished that game against Namibia. Yeah, David Warner just trying to work it to the leg side. Big top edge, straight up in the air. Early breakthrough for Scotland. Wheel is in. This one fall into the pads, but Marsh defends it. Back to Wheel, and there's no run. Good start from Scotland. They need to continue picking up wickets at regular intervals, and they need to put pressure on Australia, because they do know that Australia, they do bat deep. You've got the likes of Marsh and Head at the crease, but you've also got Maxwell and Stoinis to come, and Matthew Wade as well. Tim David. Wheel in. This one on the pads, and Marsh just works it out to a backwards square leg for a leg bye, I think. Didn't think Marsh got any bat on that, so it's a leg bye. And Australia move on to 1 for 3. 2 balls left of the second over. So here we go. Wheel in again to Head. This one, Head punches it to mid-off, and there's no run. So a very good start from Scotland. Got the early wicket of Warner. Just fetching that wide outside off stump, Warner, to access the leg side, and in the end, in doing so, hit it straight up in the air. So Scotland have done well to remove him, but they need to back themselves, Scotland here. Wheel is in. This one punched again by Head, but he can't beat the fielder at backward point, and there's no run. And a good finish to the over. It's the end of the over, 1 for 3 after 2. 1 for 3 after 2 overs, and Scotland are up and about with the early wicket of David Warner. He was dismissed in that over by Wheel, caught by the captain, Richie Berrington, for 1. Travis Head, Mitchell Marsh at the crease. A lot riding on this game. If Australia win, well, they pretty much knock out Scotland and England will progress, because they had a pretty good win by 41 runs on Duckworth-Lewis against Namibia this morning, or early in the day in the Caribbean. It's going to be Watt, Mark Watt. So spin again for Scotland from the other end. Now, it's going to be interesting if we're going to see Mark Watt bowl from 24 yards behind the umpire. He doesn't on this occasion. He's in this one full and driven by Marsh, but he can't get it past mid-off, and there's no run. Watt is in. This one short, pulled by Marsh to deep mid-wicket for 4. No one out there. They had a square leg out there, but he couldn't come around and cut that off. Mitchell Marsh, the captain, puts his foot down, punishes Watt, I should say, not this. Yeah, too short, and easy pickings for Mitchell Marsh. Picks up a boundary. Pressure on Watt. He's in again to Marsh. This one full on the pads. Marsh gets a bit of bat on it, runs it fine. Down to fine leg. The fielder will cut it off. They'll just only get the 1. The score moves on to 1 for 8. So Mitchell Marsh getting into his work. He's 4 off 5 of that boundary. Travis Head yet to get going. He's only 1 off 6, but he'll be facing Watt now, and he'll be hoping to get into this innings, get a few runs flowing, get the confidence up, get the momentum going as well in the batting. Here's Watt into Head. This one short outside off stump, and Head can't pierce the offside field. He hits it straight to the fielder at cover point. And again, no run for Head. Finding it a little bit difficult to get going. Sudeep says, Aussie fan here, but wants Scotland to win. Well, would be good. But I still think Australia should win from here. Watt's in. This one short. Outside off stump, and Head gets up and under this. Works it to the offside. Won't quite get to the boundary, but they'll pick up a couple of runs. And Australia move on to 1 for 10. Scotland, can they do the unthinkable? Can they beat Australia? Watt is in. This one short, wide, outside off stump. Cut away by Head. Through backward point for 4. So a very good finish for Head at the end of the overs. 1 for 14 after 3. So Australia's just starting to get a couple of boundaries going here. Mitchell Marsh and now Head in that over. And hopefully that will get them going, especially Travis Head. Hasn't quite hit his straps yet, but early days. Now for Scotland. Can they cope with the pressure of knowing that if we beat this Australia side, we're pretty much through? And what a story that will be. But they do know that Australia are a very strong batting unit. They do bat deep and long. And they know that Travis Head and Mitchell Marsh are very dangerous. Win predictor firmly in favour of Scotland, but that can change. It's only the 3rd over into the 4th. Wheel is back into the continuing, I should say. He's into Marsh, and Marsh just chops this down. He works it down to 3rd man for a single. Only wicket to fall was David Warner. And he will be disappointed with that dismissal. Just skied one straight up in the air. Pat Cummins, well, I hope it's the actual Pat Cummins. Probably not. Says Australia acting on top. His wheel in. This one short and cut away from head down to third man for 4. A bit too short from wheel, and head was able to exploit that width outside the off stump and easily work it away for a boundary. Now, all of a sudden, Travis Head's starting to get going. A couple of boundaries he's hit now in the last couple of overs. Yeah, a bit short wide from wheel outside off stump. It's a good surface. Australia should be able to back themselves to chase down this turtle. It's a good test going into the Super 8s. Wheel is in. This one tucks Travis Head up into the body, but Head works it out to mid-on, and there's no run. One for 19. Australia, 3.3 overs into the run chase. Can Scotland defend 180? Could go down to the wire. You never know in this game. Wheel is in. This one, Head mistimes and just chops it into the ground. And again, there's no run. Yes, he's got to be careful, Wheel, not to give too much width outside off stump to Travis Head, because he loves playing the ball through that point, backward point region. A lot of runs he's scored there in his career thus far. So he's got to be careful not to give too much width. He was a bit lucky on that occasion that Travis Head mistimed it, but still, Wheel is in. This one short, pulled by Head magnificently. Over the rope for 6 at deep mid-wicket. No, just one bounce for. But nonetheless, a boundary. And already Australia starting to get into the innings, starting to get a few boundaries away. If they can put a bit of pressure on the Scotland bowlers, make them feel that pressure. And Travis Head, we know that he can change games in a matter of minutes. We all know what he can do. And not quite going all the way, but 4 runs nonetheless. It's a pretty good start. 1 for 23 for Australia. 1 ball left at the 4th over. The crowd loving this. Not so much the Scotland skipper. Maybe he's got a little bit of a feeling that it's going to be difficult. Wheel is in. This one, plain a miss by Head. Through to the keeper, no runs. The end of the over. 1 for 23. Nonetheless, a good over again from Australia. Just starting to get into the groove. Chasing 181 for victory. Sadeep says you should start your career on commentary. Well, thank you. Yes, well, let's hope so. But I do try my best. Now, the poll in the chat that we've put up is that most people think, 50% of you think that Australia will win. 31% of you think Scotland will win. And the other option is that 19% of you think England will get eliminated. Well, we shall see. If Australia win, pretty much Scotland are eliminated and Australia will go through along with England in Group B. But if Scotland win, if they do, they're on track. They've got a chance here. Then they will go through with Australia. So it's going to be Sol. So it's going to be Chris Sol into the attack. Another change of bowling. So Richie Berrington, the captain, changing the bowlers. Not letting the Australian batters settle on one particular bowler for a length of time. He's only picked up 2 wickets in this World Cup thus far, Sol. And he's into the attack early in the power play with 2 overs remaining. Marsh and Head will be looking to capitalise. Sol in, this one in the arc. And Marsh dispatches it down to a deep wicket for a couple of runs. Didn't quite time it to get it all the way to the boundary, but nonetheless, 2 runs. And for Sol, he's got to keep away from the pads and make sure he gets it out of the arc of Mitchell Marsh. Sudeep says, come on, Scotland, let's win this. I still think Australia should be able to get the job done given their batting. But Scotland have given themselves an opportunity. Runs on the board, 180. And they've given themselves a chance, but their bowling attack will know that we have to be on our money. Sol is in, this one short, pulled by Marsh to a deep backward square leg for a single. He's 8 off 8. Travis Head 15 off 14. Already 3 runs off the over. The required rate is 9 and over. Nearly touching 10. It's the current run rate is 6 and over, so run a ball for Australia. The required rate is 9 and over, so if Australia can have a few big overs here and there, that can certainly bring that required run rate down in spades. But Scotland have given themselves an opportunity. Sol in again. This time to Head, who dispatches this straight back over his head, down the ground. Has he got... Oh, he's dropped it! He's dropped it! He was underneath it. He settled himself. It was Jones down there. And unfortunately, he's put it down. How costly of a drop will that be? Scotland, they can't afford to be dropping catches. Travis Head, he did not quite get enough on this. Straight up in the air, down the ground. It bounced out of the hands of Jones. He couldn't get it back on the second attempt. He did well to make ground, but he could not hold on and just juggled out of his hands. Luckily for Scotland, didn't go to the boundary for 4. His Sol is in. This one short, playing a miss from Head. Through to the keeper, no run. He was trying to cut that through the point region. Head, as he indicates that after that delivery, he wanted to work that through point, but he couldn't connect. The drop catch again from Jones. Yeah. Got to be taking those, especially if it's Travis Head. They know Scotland. They know deep down inside what Travis Head can do. You can't be giving him second chances. If they are going to win this game and go through, they need to take them. Sol is in, and this one bunted down the ground from Head, and it will race away to the boundary for 4. Already, the drop catch starting to prove costly for Scotland because a boundary's been scored in this over. Australia 1 for 32. They know that they can catch up. Lofted straight back down the ground from Travis Head there, and that's a better shot. Much better. Towards the middle of the bat, and not so much aerial, but a little bit of a flat trajectory. Sol is in. This one short, pulled by Head, and it's going to race to the deep backward square leg fielder, who comes around, cuts it off for 2. It's a good finish to the over for Australia. 1 for 34 after 5. 11 runs off the over from Sol, plus the drop catch of Travis Head. How costly will that be? Scotland got to take every opportunity that comes their way. They can't afford to be making mistakes, drop catches, misfields. They're in a good position, but they know that Australia will come hard. And they know that this game is not won yet. There's still a lot of cricket to be played. So he's going to be changing the bowling again. A new bowler, I should say. It's going to be Sharif into the attack. Sharif. Safan Sharif into the attack. He's going to bowl the last over of the power play. So Scotland changing their bowlers around. He's taken 74 wickets in his career. That's not bad. Sharif, he's in. And this one short in the slot. Marsh pulls it straight to the fielder at deep square leg. He picked him out like a sore thumb. And unfortunately for Marsh, he's got to go. And for Scotland, they pick up another wicket. Well, well, well. If England are watching this game in Antigua, they'll be very nervous because Australia are in a bit of bother. They've lost their second wicket and they've lost their captain. And Sharif, first ball into the attack, picks up the wicket. Unfortunately, Marsh picked him out. So it was caught by the sub-fielder in tier. So Marsh has got to go for 8. 2 for 34, and Scotland have started well in this run chase. That's a big wicket of Mitchell Marsh. Really, at the end of the day, it's not really the end of the world for Australia if they do lose against Scotland. Number one, it'll be a huge victory for Scotland, and I think everyone will be very happy about that. And also England won't be happy about that, given that they will be potentially knocked out and not qualifying for the Super 8s. So that's what we've seen in this T20 World Cup. When the associate countries play against the full member countries, they've really held their heads high. They've been competitive in some games, not all the games, but some of the games have been competitive. And they've really made a good account of themselves. And Scotland right here are definitely in the box seat. 2 for 34 Australia. Glenn Maxwell's a new batter. He'll be on strike to Sharif, who's up and about with that wicket. But Scotland, they just got to remember that this game isn't won yet. Australia still have a lot of batting to come. Sharif is in on the pads. Maxwell works it out to square leg. He'll pick up 2 at least. He waited the shot nicely. Just on the edge of the 30-yard circle. He picked up an easy... I thought he ran 2 there, but it was only a single. But nonetheless, he's off the mark. Mitchell Marsh did not quite get that out of the screws. Picked out the deep mid-wicket fielder. And the Scottish fans up and about. Why not? Absolutely. They've got an opportunity here. And to think their first ever T20 International against Australia may be a victory. You never know. But a lot of people would say, well, did Australia really, manipulated the result as that's been talked about? This one short down the leg side by Sharif. It's called a wide. Should be a wide. In the end, no, it's not called a wide. It's a dot ball. Should have been a wide. It's down the leg side. But anyway, the umpire said, nope, that's okay. Don't think Travis Head will be all happy about that. That was short. Yeah, fair enough. Sharif in. This one full and Head works it to a point. Fielder does well to cut it off just for the single. 2 for 36 for Australia. Chasing 181 after Scotland made 5 for 180 from their 20 overs. So the required run rate for Australia is 10 and over. The current run rate is 6 and over, so run a ball. So Australia will be hoping for a big couple of overs here if they get a few big overs. Sharif's in, this one full, and Maxwell works it out to mid-on, and there's no run. So Australia well behind Scotland in terms of the power play comparison. Scotland were 2 for 50 odd in the power play. Australia 2 for 30 odd. So Australia trailing behind, but they can make up ground in the middle over phase, you would think, and especially outside of the power play as well. Sharif's in, and Maxwell can't get it past the fielder at point, and another dot ball to the end of the over. 2 for 36 at the end of the power play. Scotland, an opportunity to create some history, to defeat Australia, who are one of the tournament favourites. And I suppose you can understand how excited they are at this prospect of beating Australia. We nearly saw that yesterday with Nepal. They could have won against South Africa yesterday. That was a very good match that we saw yesterday. But unfortunately for Nepal, they just crumbled under the pressure at the last moment in the run chase. Can Scotland, can they keep their composure? Can they keep backing themselves and saying, if we take wickets, put them under pressure, we've got this. We've got the scoreboard pressure, but it's still a good surface. Australia will know that one or two big overs and a good partnership, can definitely swing the game back into their favour. Soul's in. This one a short ball. An attempted uppercut from Head, but he plays and misses through to the keeper, no run. And really for Australia, really today, it's all about the Super 8s, their attention now, and trying to qualify for the semi-finals in the next phase of the tournament. So Australia pretty much through. It's just whether or not England or Scotland will go through from Group B, and then you pretty much know who are the teams in the Super 8s. I think we pretty much know what the teams are. You would think Bangladesh in Group D should go through, along with South Africa. Soul in. This one tucks Head up and cramped for Broom, and there's no run. Good over from Soul. He went for 11 from his first, and now he's come back with a good comeback over here after going for 11 in the previous over he bowled. So Travis Head, Glenn Maxwell be looking to form a partnership and get a few big overs away. I think that's the important thing for Australia, just to put Scotland under some pressure. Soul is in. This one short down the leg side. Going to be called wide. Good take from Cross, the keeper, to prevent that from going to the boundary. And a dot ball. Well, sorry, a wide from that delivery. They've given themselves a chance, Scotland. They've got a chance here. Whether or not they can finish off the job is another question. As I was saying before, Nepal, they had South Africa on toast and they couldn't finish off the job. Soul is in. This one slashed by Head through backward point for 4. No, for 6. It's gone all the way. Can't be bowling there. So you can't give Travis Head whipped outside off stump. He's just going to free his hands up and hope for the best. And that's what he did there. Just slashed that away to deep backward point for 4. Or in the end, 6. And he is well and truly starting to find the boundary, Travis Head. And from an Australian point of view, that is the main thing. Try and find a boundary and over. Soul is in. This one on the pads and Head flicks it through square leg. And the fielder at deep square leg will cut that off for 2. Good running. And that's what Australia need. Get a bit of fluency, momentum in their innings. Look to run hard between the wickets. Pounce on the bad ball or the boundary ball and over. And make sure you do the basics with the bat. If they can do that, they're on their way. Already 20 off 1.4 overs for Soul, so he's feeling the pressure a little bit in this over. He's in, and this one short, pulled by Head effortlessly, but straight to the deep square leg fielder just for a single. And he moves on to 33, Travis Head. 2 for 46. Travis Head striking at 132 as the band plays, banging their drums and blowing their trumpets. Good atmosphere in St. Lucia tonight. It's party atmosphere, as you expect in the Caribbean, of course. They love their cricket, and no doubt they do in St. Lucia. 2 for 46, 181 for Australia to win. They've got 2 batters who can do it. Glenn Maxwell and Travis Head, who are forming a partnership. Maxwell on strike. He's just faced 3 balls for 1 run. Soul is in. This one full on the pads, and Maxwell works it through mid-wicket. He'll pick up an easy single to end the 7th over. It's the end of the over. It's 2 for 47 after 7. Are we in for another thrilling match, or will Scotland be able to get the job done and book a place in the Super 8s? Australia need 134 off 78 required. Legal deliveries, that is, to win, top the group, win 4 from 4. And for Scotland, unfortunately, if they do go on to lose, they will be knocked out. And therefore, the England team will be very happy at that because they go through to the Super 8s. But you would think England probably will get knocked out anyway, given if they do go through to the Super 8s. They do have a tough group. I think they do play the West Indies and South Africa, which is not an easy group. And then you've got the USA. So we're back to spin. And it's going to be Leask. He's back into the attack. He bowled the first over of the innings. He's back again. Right arm around the wicket into the right-hander of Maxwell, who works it out to deep mid-wicket for an easy single. So Australia have lost 2 wickets. Warner and Marsh are the 2 wickets to fall today. And they'll be hoping, Australia, that they get a partnership here and get these runs. Lee Skin, this one short and wide outside off stump, and Head punishes it to the deep long off boundary. He'll pick up a couple. 50 comes up for Australia. Off 7.2 overs, the 50 has come up. So Scotland have taken a couple of early wickets, but they know the surface is still good. They know that these 2 at the crease, Head and Maxwell, can certainly cause problems for them. Lisk is in, and this one just defended to the offside by Head and this over. Isk in, this one on the pads on leg stump, and Head just tucks it around to deep square leg just for an easy single. Doing it comfortably, picking off the singles when you can, hitting the odd boundary in the over. Australia need 10 runs required and over. So they'll be hoping a couple of big overs here and there, get that required run rate down, and you can put pressure on Scotland. Lisk is in. This one short, pulled by Maxwell down to fine leg. The fielder comes around, cuts it off for 2. And he moves on to 5, Glenn Maxwell. Hasn't had a great run of form of late, Maxwell, and he'll be hoping to get a good score tonight. I think for Australia going through to the Super 8s, they'll be hoping that he gets a score of some note. Lisk is in. And this one dispatched by Maxwell. Over long on's head for 6. What a way to end the over. It's the end of the over, 2 for 59 after 8. Well, thanks everyone for joining us. Let us know in the chat who you're barracking for, who you're going for. Are you going for Australia, going for Scotland, or you're hoping that England get knocked out? We'd love to hear what you have to say, your thoughts on this game, but also the tournament, and how do you see the Super 8s progressing in the next stage? But I think we're in for an exciting finish to this match, I think. It's got that feel about it. There's so much at stake. Not so much for Australia. They're pretty much through, but for Scotland, if they win today, they will be through to the Super 8s, and what a story that will be to join the USA as the 2 associate nations to go through to the Super 8s, and I think that will be a fantastic result. But Watt is in this one on the pads, and Head just works it out to the fielder at deep long on. Pick up a single. Glenn Maxwell, the 6 off the last ball, the previous over, just the muscle. We saw that in that fantastic World Cup innings last year against Afghanistan. Doesn't really move his feet at all. It's all the arms and the hands and the power from the forearms that he generates. It's just unbelievable. Oh, he's bowled him. He's knocked him over. He's bowled him. He's knocked him over. Watt has knocked over Maxwell. He's knocked over his off stump. And Scotland have got Australia 3 for 60. They're well on top now. And I think for the England team watching this from afar, they'll be barracking for Australia very badly. This one just went straight on, pitched on off stump, went straight on. Maxwell beaten on the outside edge. And Watt breaks through. Maxwell, it was a short stay. He only made 11. He's got to go. Bowled by Watt. It's 3 for 60. And Australia, well, I think many people will be saying doing their best to try and manipulate this result, as many people have made those comments going into this match. But besides from that, you've got to say Scotland have played really well. Putting all the jokes to one side, Scotland have played really well. They've batted well. They've bowled well. They've kept the pressure on here. But they know that we got to keep the pressure on. We know that we can't let up. We can't relax. We can't get into that mindset of knowing that the game is won here. Australia still need 10 runs and over on a pitch that's still pretty good for batting. You've got Stoinis, who's come to the crease. He's joined by Travis Head. He's on 37. Scotland know that this game is far from done. But removing Glenn Maxwell has certainly helped the cause. But they can't get into that trap of knowing that this game is done, but it's not done. There's still a long way to go. There's still a lot of cricket to be played. We're not even halfway through the overs. And anything can happen in the last few overs and a bit. Here's Watt. He's in to Stoinis. This one short outside off stump. Stoinis works it through backward point to the boundary for 4. It will get there. Into the rope. And Australia straight away putting the pressure on Watt here. Stoinis. Yeah, too short outside off stump. And easy pickings for Marcus Stoinis. He's been in reasonable form, it has to be said. In this T20 World Cup, he's pretty much scored runs, taken wickets, and it's good to see from Marcus Stoinis. He hasn't done that for some time for Australia, but good to see him doing that in this World Cup. He's certainly got confidence going into this innings today. Watt is in. This one full and driven by Stoinis down to deep mid-off, and he'll pick up a single. He moves on to 5, and Travis Head on strike. He's on 37. Yeah, Glenn Maxwell just played all around that. Just got beaten off the outside edge. Didn't really turn, really. Just went straight on with the arm. Watt in. And this one, Head works out to a deep wide long off. And he'll pick up a single. 3 for 66 for Australia. As they look to keep the pressure on Scotland here. But Scotland in with a chance of winning this game. There's a lot riding on this game for Scotland, and good to see that they want this. Stoinis works it out to the offside for another single to the end of the over. 3 for 67 after 9. After 9 overs, so nearly halfway, and Australia 3 for 67 after 9. Scotland firmly in the box seat, but I think they will know, and I think everyone watching this game will know that this game is far from done. Even though Australia are 3 for 67 after 9, chasing 181, this game is far from done. Australia can still get these runs. They'll back themselves. They've got Travis Head and Marcus Stoinis out there at the crease. And Travis Head is the key. Travis Head can score a big score. If he scores 50 plus, you would think Australia are well on their way to winning this game. Everyone's on the edge of their seat. No doubt the England team will be as well. Lisk is in. This one just paddled, swept around the corner, down to third man for a boundary from Stoinis. Lovely improvisation there from Stoinis. And from Lisk, he was bowling, well, right arm around the wicket to the right-hander in Stoinis, angling the ball across Stoinis. And all he needed to do was just to get a bit of bat on that, just work it around, down to third man, and get an easy boundary, which he did. Third man was up inside the circle. Lisk is in. This one short outside off stump, and Stoinis glides it. Can't get it past the fielder at backward point, though, and there's no run. So they've got protection on the boundary, Scotland. They've got their boundary riders on the boundary. This one into the pads on leg stump, and Stoinis just works it around to deep square leg just for the single. Scotland. They've got a chance. They've got an opportunity to win this game. Not riding on it. Lisk is in, and Head can't get it. Well, he can get a single from that ball because the fielder at cover just misfielded that ricocheted, and in the end, it's only a single. So Travis Head, 39 off 31. Stoinis, 11 off 6. He's on strike. Lisk, none for 20. He's in to Stoinis. This one beats Stoinis outside. He's outside edge and through to the keeper, no run. Good take. Well, you can see some of the fans in the crowd are nervous. They're looking very nervous. This game could go down to the wire. Lisk is in, and this one punched down the ground by Stoinis to mid-off. Deep mid-off, and he'll pick up a single. 3 for 74 after 10. End of the over, 3 for 74. And both teams are going to have a drink as well. Well, 3 for 74 after 10 overs. 10 overs remain. This partnership between Head and Stoinis has developed in quick time. Already 14. A couple of boundaries in that. And Australia looking to get these runs. 10 runs required and over for Australia to chase down these runs. Their current run rate is 7 and over, so that run rate is starting to climb. The required run rate is still at that 10 mark, but if they have a couple of big overs here and there, bring that required run rate down and put pressure on Scotland. But Scotland definitely in with a chance, you would say, at this stage. So these last 10 overs will be telling whether or not this match is one-sided or this match goes down to the wire and we have another thrilling match in this World Cup. So drinks, and both teams will be pondering their next move. Do write in if you have any thoughts in the chat. We'd love to hear what you have to say on this game, who you're going for. What do you expect for the Super 8s? Your predictions, who will do well, who will be the top two teams in each of the two groups in the Super 8s. We'd love to hear your thoughts on that as well. Do write in. No doubt, if the England team, if you had a camera on the England team watching this game live, I think some of them will be very nervous. I think majority of the team will be nervous, and more so than Johnny Bairstow. Josh Buttler, I should say, not Bairstow. I guess he will be nervous as well, but more so the captain, Buttler, will be nervous, knowing that Scotland are a good chance of causing an upset here. So Scotland, 10 overs separate them from a potential Super 8 berth. 10 overs, that's all we have left in this run chase. Australia 3 for 74. They've got Marcus Stoinis and Travis Head at the crease. This game is far from over. Could go down to the wire, maybe a super over, you don't know. We've seen quite a few of those in this T20 World Cup. Some super overs and some close finishes. Yesterday, Nepal lost by a run against South Africa. 107 off 60 for Australia. That's the required mint for them to win this game. So Scotland were 2 for 96 after 10. Australia were 3 for 74 at the end of 10 overs on comparison. So Scotland well ahead at this stage, but as we know, things can change quickly in this T20 format. As Sharif continues, he's aborted his run. Marcus Stoinis not happy that something's distracted him behind the side screen. And he'll have to re-bowl that one again, Sharif. So Australia, in that phase of overs 7 to 9, scored 24 runs at 11 and over with the run rate. So not a bad phase there for Australia. They'll be hoping to capitalise on this next phase of play in the next few overs to win this match. As Sharif is in, and this one full on the pads, and a quick single from Stoinis, who works it to mid-wicket, and he will move on to 13. 3 for 75. Travis Head, the key. 39 off 31. Scotland know that drop catch. Let's remember about that drop catch. He was dropped early on, Travis Head. How costly would that be for Scotland in the context of this game and how this game will end up? It could decide ultimately their place in the Super 8s. Richie Berrington, the captain, has got a serious look on his face. He's determined, as well as the Scotland team as well. It's good to see Scotland playing so well in this tournament. And they qualified to be here. One of the top 2 teams in the Europe qualifiers to qualify for this event. Sharif in, this one short, this one down the leg side. Travis Head tried to catch up with it, but in the end, no connection with the bat, and it's a wide. So Scotland doing a very good job here. They've certainly taken it up to both England and Australia in this group stage. And in the game against England, which obviously was affected by rain, they really played well with the bat there. Sharif in, this one short and wide outside off stump, and dispatched by Travis Head to the deep point boundary for 4. Yet again, Sharif just straying short and wide outside off stump. You can't be bowling there to Travis Head. We keep saying it. He's always going to flash at it. He's always going to throw his hands at it. He loves it. He loves scoring runs in that area of the ground. Point, backward point, behind square. He loves scoring in that region outside off stump. And he pierced the gap nicely between point and cover for that boundary. 3 for 80 Australia now. Head on to 43. Sharif is in. This one full, and again dispatched through the point region, but they've got the deep point in position. He cuts it off and prevents another boundary. Only the single for Travis Head. He goes on to 44 of 33. So Australia have got it to 100 off 57. And they're just starting to target their bowlers and make sure that they punish those boundary balls to the boundary. A couple of big overs here from Australia. Get that required rate down. Sharif in, this one short, and Stoinis just works it off his pads down to fine leg, and he'll pick up a single. And he gets Travis Head back on strike, which is the main thing for Stoinis. That's his job. Gets Travis Head back on strike. $99 of 56 required. So Australia have got it under 100 runs to win. If they can get that gap between runs and balls required, if they can get that down, they're well on their way. Sharif in, and this one defended by Head, and there's no run. Well, the crowd is certainly loving it. They're playing their instruments, the drums and the instruments in full force here in St. Lucia. A party, carnival sort of atmosphere in the Caribbean, as you would expect. Sharif in. This one dispatched by Head. Short and wide outside off stump again, but he can't pierce the gap at extra cover. There's no run. It's the end of the over. 3 for 82. Another productive over from Australia in their quest to chase down 181. But we've got a feeling that this game could potentially go down to the wire. It's got a feeling about that. Scotland, they're not far away from doing something special here. Can they keep their nerve? That's the main thing. Keep their nerve. John says, something's fishy. I can hear a certain someone say Vegas odds. Yes, I can too, John, and I don't know who you're talking about. I'm pretty sure Gabe will be talking about that. But to be fair, Scotland have played really well, despite all that talk about manipulation of results. You got to say they've really competed well here. Greaves is in for the first time, and this one dispatched by Stoinis down to a deep long off for a single. So Australia need 11 runs and over required. The current run rate is 7. 3 for 83. They need 98 off 53 balls. If they can get a couple of big overs here, this over go for 20 or something. Graves is in, and this one is hit straight to the fielder at cover from Travis Head. He can't pierce the gap, and there's no run. Well, Travis Head, 44. Greaves is in, and Head just works it down the ground to long off, and he'll pick up a single. He's on 45, and he was dropped early on, Travis Head. How costly would that be in the context of this game? He was dropped early on, and he's now on 45. We know what he can do. He can change games in a matter of minutes. Sort of got that Adam Gilchrist sort of vibe about him, Travis Head. Greaves is in, and then Stoinis hits it straight back to Greaves, who misfields and ricochets out to long off, and he'll pick up a single. Stoinis, he's on 16. Doing his job. He's getting Head back on strike. He's been in the runs in this World Cup, Stoinis, and no doubt an opportunity for him to score some runs here. Well, let's just say if you're an England supporter, or if you're the England team, it'll be interesting to have a camera on them watching this game from Antigua. They will be nervous because if Scotland win today, that's it. England are out. Simple as that. This one worked to the offside, an easy single for Travis Head to end the 12th over. Australia 3 for 86. 8 overs remain, 12 completed. Well, there was a lot of talk about this game and how this game will go down. I think, well, if Australia do lose today, then a lot of people will say that it was a manipulation of results. But putting that to one side, you have to look at it from a cricketing point of view. And really, Scotland have played well. I don't think we can discredit them for that. Let's not take anything away from Scotland. They've really competed well today. Put a score on the board. This one on the pads and by Watt, and Head will work it out to a deep backward square leg for a single. They've really done well, Scotland, today. And Australia resting a few players. Obviously, no Pat Cummins and Josh Hazlewood today. And really for Australia, really, in the context of this match, it's nothing for them to gain. They've already through on qualification for the Super 8s. It's more about the Super 8s and that focus. That's where the serious business will begin next week after the last group match of this group phase is completed, and then we're into the Super 8s. Watt in, and this one defended to extra cover by Stoinis, and there's no run. This one full and driven by Stoinis to the deep cover boundary for 4. Just over pitching slightly there, Watt, and Stoinis was able to dispatch that to the boundary. And Australia 3 for 91. They need 90 or 45. Stoinis 20 or 14. This partnership between Head and him is a good one for the 4th wicket. Developing nicely. Watt is in. This one, a swing and a miss by Stoinis. Beaten all ends up through the keeper, no run. Try to sweep it. Could not lay bat on ball there. This one from Watt outside off stump and just going straight on with the arm there. And the keeper fumbled it. Anyway, it didn't really matter. There was no bat involved, so no chance of a dismissal. Watt is in. This one reverse swept by Stoinis. The keeper takes it. No connection with the bat, and he dispatches the bails. But in the end, it's a dot ball. 31 of 28 this partnership. Head has added 10 of the 30 odd runs and 20 for Stoinis. Is Watt in? Last ball of his over. He's in. This one cut away by Stoinis through point. Good fielding by the fielder at backward point. Just prevents the ball from going to the boundary. Keeps it to 1. It's the end of the over. 3 for 92 after 13. 13 overs completed. 7 to go. Australia 3 for 92. They need 89 of 42. That run rate is 12 and over. And I think the England team will be watching on in Antigua, praying that Australia get these runs. But I suppose this is what happens in a tournament, really, when you have these situations that are out of your control. And for England, they'll be twiddling their thumbs. They'll be hoping for the best. They'll be praying that the old enemy can get the runs here against the Scots. But you got to say, Scotland have been really impressive tonight. And I think potentially if they do go on to win, I'm not going to say it's a done deal yet. You can't really say these things are done. This one reverse swept by Stoinis. He works it out to the third man boundary to pick up a single. So Leask is in for his last over, 21 from his 3.1 thus far. He's bowled pretty well. Lisk in. This one full and defended by Head back to Lisk, and there's no run. This one worked out to deep cover. He'll pick up a single hit. He moves on to 48. So nearly approaching a half century for him. Well, for Scotland, they would have hoped that the game against England and Namibia was washed out today, but that wasn't the case. Obviously, they got back on and they played. This one dispatched to the boundary by Stoinis for a boundary of... No, it's 6. It's gone over the rope. And 100 up for Australia. They need 81 off 38. They're 3 for 100. And Marcus Stoinis moves on to 28 off 19. Lisk is in to Stoinis. And this one dispatched by Stoinis high and long into the skies and over the rope for 6. It is, you betcha. Straight into the dugout. Back-to-back 6s for Stoinis. And all of a sudden, he's just hit the switch and he said, right, I've got to go now. Let's do it. Let's just put it into top gear and let's get these runs. He moves on to 34 off 20. Australia 3 for 106. Lisk under pressure for this last ball of his last over. This one reverse swept by Stoinis, and he'll get it away to the deep backward point boundary for 4. What a finish from Stoinis. 16 off the last 3 balls, and Australia will be pretty happy with that finish to the over. Stoinis, 16 runs off the last 3 balls of that over. And Australia putting their foot down, Head and Stoinis in this partnership. And for Scotland, can they hold their nerve? That's all I will say. We saw that yesterday with Nepal, where they nearly won that game against South Africa. They should have won that game. And they lost by a run. 3 for 110 for Australia after 14. 6 overs remain. Now, you would say in the modern day game, this partnership's 50. The 4th wicket, by the way. It's not out of the realms of possibility that Australia will still win this game. T20 cricket these days, you can't really say it's over until it's over. Marcus Stoinis has done well in this World Cup. 135 runs. He's the 4th place run scorer in the tournament. And it's good to see him in the runs. Sol is back into the attack. This one flicked by Head off his pads. Down to a backward square leg. He'll pick up a single and moves on to 49. And all of a sudden, Scotland will be nervy about this partnership. They will know that this partnership is dangerous. It's starting to develop. That last service, 16 off the last 3 balls. Marcus Stoinis is starting to hit his groove, hit his range. So, well, let's hope we have an exciting finish. It's 70 off 35. So a couple of big overs for Australia here will get that required run rate down. Sol is in to Stoinis. And Stoinis dispatches him straight back over his head for 4. The fielders converge and they can't cut it off. The fielder at long on and the fielder at long off came in. It went through both of them and it went to the boundary for 4. All of a sudden now, Australia's starting to hit that accelerator. Yeah. The 2 fielders there, at long on and long off, just couldn't lay a hand on it. All of a sudden, pressure mounting all of a sudden in the last couple of balls and deliveries. Outside edge, and it's 4. It goes past keeper and short third man. Marcus Stoinis flashed the hands at that. It raced away to the boundary. He moves on to 46 off 23, and all of a sudden, Australia have increased this partnership to 59 in a quick rate of knots. Oh, unlucky. Unlucky for the bowler there. Got the outside edge. If he had a slip, it would have been out caught, but, T20 cricket, you don't have slips. Unlucky for Sol. Already 9 off the over. 62 off 33. Sol is in to Stoinis. This one wide, outside off stump, and Stoinis doesn't time it, but he gets it over the infield. He'll pick up a single at least. 3 for 120 for Australia. 47 for Stoinis. 49 for Head. This partnership looking dangerous a little bit here. John says that was a casual 6, the reverse 6. It was. John says Maxwell will be proud. Indeed he will, John. Indeed he will. But they're so good at playing those reverse sweeps and laps these days. Sol in. This one short outside off stump, but Head can't connect through the keeper, no run. Oh, now then, all of a sudden, the pressure back on Scotland. They know this partnership can definitely take the game away. They're still favourites to win, Scotland. 58% on win predictor. 42% to Australia. They've certainly increased that in the last couple of overs. This partnership has certainly done that. 61 of 31. Sol, last ball of his third. Can he get out of the over? He's into Head. This one full, and Head drives down the ground. Doesn't time it at all. Won't go to the boundary. Will go to long off for a single. That will bring up the half century for Head. It's the end of the over. 3 for 121. And the Australian dugout applaud Travis Head. What a player he is, Travis Head. He's had a remarkable couple of years. World Cup final, the 100 there last year, the World Test Championship final. He's in the form of his life, Travis Head. Good to see. 5 overs remain, and he's still out there with Australia a chance of winning this game. And I think it's a good test for Australia today. Good test for them today to be under pressure. I think it's good going into the Super 8s. You want to be tested. You want to be put under pressure. I think everyone expected Australia to come up and, probably win this game easily like they did against Namibia in the last game. But that hasn't been the case because Scotland have performed well. They've really performed well in this T20 World Cup across the board, really. And it'll be so unlucky if they don't go through to the Super 8s. But I suppose that's just the way it goes in cricket. You can never take it for granted. And for Scotland, they know 60 or 30. If Australia have another couple of big overs here, well, game on. Sharif in. This one short, pulled by Head, magnificently over the rope for 6, over deep square leg. All of a sudden now, Australia are starting to flick the switch. It's now 54 of 29, and Travis Head, how many times have we said it? He's got that Adam Gilchrist vibe about him. He can change games in a matter of minutes. That was too short from Sharif. And Travis Head, well, he does have problems with the short ball, but he didn't have any problems with that. Connected it well on the Gray Nichols. And just helped it on its way, really. It was a very good shot. Effortlessly played. So Australia have got that required run rate under 12. It's still 11.17. But they can change it in a matter of minutes here now, and that's what's happening. This partnership is dangerous for Scotland. Sharif in, and Head dispatches it over long on for 6. Woohoo! Travis Head starting to turn the screws. It's now 48 off 28. All of a sudden, Scotland feeling the pinch. And Travis Head again. He's got that power. He's got that skill. And for Sharif, not in the area that he wanted to bowl. He's got to get it away from his hitting arc. It's 10.29 required, the required run rate. Richie Berrington, the Scotland captain, feeling under pressure. Sharif is in. This one full and wide outside off stump. It's got to be called a wide. Not a great delivery from Sharif. He's feeling the pressure now. That just slipped out of his hand. And he's feeling the pressure. Daren Sammy is in the crowd. Well, as he would, because he's at his stadium that's named after him here in St. Lucia. So, obviously, we've got to see Daren Sammy at his own stadium. He's in the crowd watching this great game. This one's short by Sharif, outside off stump, and it's going to go over the rope again for 6 from Travis Head. This over, he's taken Sharif downtown. It's already 41 off 27. This game has turned in a matter of minutes. And for Scotland, all the good work is starting to come undone now. Travis Head taking this game away now. Yeah, too short again from Sharif. $41 off 27. That required run rate is 9 and over. That is manageable. 3 for 140 for Australia. 41 off 27. Everyone on the edge of their seats. People want Scotland to win. People want Australia to win. People want to see England get knocked out. Well, this T20 World Cup has provided some entertainment. Sharif is in again to Head. This one full, and Head lofts it over cover. Has he hit it straight to the fielder? He has. He's out. He's gone. He's hit it straight to the fielder. At deep long off, Travis Head. Big wicket for Scotland. Oh, another twist and turn in the match. Australia 4 for 140. Head just picked out the fielder at long off. He took a very good catch. For a moment there, I thought that went on the bounce to the fielder, but no, it didn't. It went on the full. Big wicket, but a big over, it has to be said. The damage has already been done. Travis Head gone for 68. 4 for 140. Australia are back in this match. 41 off 26. Tim David comes to the crease with Stoinis still out there on 47. And Travis Head, you had to say, did his job superbly. But for Scotland, they will breathe a sigh of relief that that was a big wicket. And Australia, 41 of 26. They just need another 41 runs to win. Travis Head has turned this game back, and the pendulum has shifted to Australia slightly. Scotland feeling the pump, feeling the pinch. And Tim David comes in at number 6. We know what Tim David can do. He can hit some long balls into the stands. He's got 1,000 runs in his T20 career, so he's been in the run. Sharif in. This one short, pulled by David through square leg, and he will pick up a single, David, to deep backward square leg, and he is off the mark. And his job will just to be get off strike, get Stoinis on strike, who can clear the rope as David tries to get into his innings. But Travis Head hit it too well. Picked out the fielder at long off. Not enough elevation, but nonetheless, he did his job, Travis Head. Crucial innings, 68. And if Australia go on to win this game, his innings, that partnership with Stoinis has definitely turned the game around yet again. This one short, wide, outside off stump, and Stoinis uppercuts this to the backward point boundary for 4. Easy as you like. It's the end of the over, 4 for 145. Marcus Stoinis brings up his half century in the process. And Australia, with 4 overs remaining, with Stoinis and David combining together now, and with Marcus Stoinis out there at the crease, Australia a good chance of chasing this down. I think we're in for another exciting match. It's 36 of 24, so the gap has come down between runs and balls required. A lot of people, the poll in the chat. So a lot of people are saying 56% Australia to win, Scotland 31%. And the other option there that I had in the poll was that England to get eliminated is 12%, the odds of that happening. Well, you would think, well, it could go either way, you would think, as Watt comes back into the attack. 1 for 24 from his 3. He's going to bowl his final over. He's going to be bowling to the dangerous David. He's in Watt. And this one's swept by David outside off stump. Can't get it past backward square leg. And there's no run. So 36 off 23. It's another big over from Australia here. Get that back down to a runner ball. Then you would think Australia are favourites to win. This one wide, outside off stump. It's going to be called a wide. Poor delivery from Watt. Can't be affording to bowl extras, especially wides or no balls. You can't give away the easy runs. And that brings the total down. 35 of 23 required for Australia. Here's Watt in. This one full, and David can only work it out to extra cover, but he will pick up a single. More importantly, that he gets Marcus Stoinis on strike. Marcus Stoinis, he's got the second fastest 50 in the tournament, 25 balls. And we also saw in this game, Brandon McMullen, the Scottish batter, he got the third fastest 50 in the tournament, as we saw in the first innings when Scotland batted. 34 of 22, this game is not done yet. Watt in. This one a reverse sweep by Stoinis. He doesn't connect, gets his back foot back down into the crease before the keeper can whip off the bails, and there's no run. Try to go for that reverse sweep option. Stoinis. It's not a bad move, considering that third man and backward point are up inside the circle on the offside. So Watt in. And this one dispatched down the ground from Stoinis to the boundary for 4. And that will bring up the 150 for Australia in the process. And that will bring it to 30 of 20 required. And Marcus Stoinis, it's good to see him back into some form. We've been very critical of Stoinis over the last few years playing for Australia. Hasn't quite hit the straps. But in this T20 World Cup, he's done well. Reverse sweep over backward point for 4. This game is back in Australia's favour now. Scotland feeling the pressure. The Australian supporters are up at about 26 off 19 now, and Australia, you would have to say, are back in this match. Good move from Stoinis. That's a good tactic. If he's going to bowl outside off stump, move across to outside off stump and just lap it. Just play the reverse sweep. He's bowled him. He's knocked him over. He's knocked him over. Next ball, he's knocked him over. What a way to finish the over for Scotland. They've picked up the 5th wicket, and that's the end of Stoinis. He's gone. It's 5 for 155. 3 overs remain. He was bowled around his legs. A good move from Watt. He knew that Marcus Stoinis was moving across to outside off stump, trying to reverse lap him, especially on the offside with deep backward point and third man up inside the circle. He decided to bowl one around his legs, just, fire it down the leg side where Marcus Stoinis' leg stump was exposed and knock him over. And that's what he's done there. But a terrific innings from Stoinis has got Australia back into this match with 3 overs remaining. All the twists and turns, and Australia on top, and then Scotland get a wicket ahead. And now Stoinis, this game has certainly turned once again. How many twists and turns can we take? Matthew Wade comes to the crease. Can he finish off the job with Tim David? Australia just need 26 of 18. 3 overs remain. They're 5 for 155. 10 runs off the last over. So Marcus Stoinis, even though he got out, his innings, along with Travis Head, has put Australia back into this match. And now Tim David and Matthew Wade, 2 new batters in the crease, capable of finishing off the job. But for Scotland, at one stage, they looked like winning this game quite comfortably. But, bowled him around the legs. Good move from Watt, just to fire that down on the leg side. And he knew that Stoinis was going to walk across the stumps and try and lap him. And it was a good plan in the end. It paid off. Dot ball to start the 18th over by Wheel, I think it is. Tim David just tucked up. He nearly hit it straight back to Wheel. You nearly got a caught and bowl, but just fell short on the half volley. 26 off 17. Australia get a couple of boundaries in this over, get it back to a runner ball. Wheel in. This one short, pulled by David. Down to the fine leg boundary for 4. That's what he needed, David, just to get a bit of bat on that, help it on its way. Boundary there. It's now 22 off 16. And Australia, you will have to say, are well on track to chase down this total. And for Scotland, they've done so well in this match. Let's not take any away from the Scotland team. They've done so well to fight hard in this game. Unfortunately, just a little things happening here and there with the pressure. Oh, that's a full toss from Greaves. And that will go to the boundary for 4. Tim David got a bit of bash on that on the full toss. It was an easy ball just to pick off the body, run the face of the bat down to fine leg for 4. And it's now 18 off 15, and Australia well in control of this run chase now. The partnership of Head, the innings of Head and Stoinis has really helped Australia get back into this game. And without those innings, I think Australia would have been looking at a loss here. That last delivery was a full toss, and all Tim David did was just get inside the line, get a bit of bat on that, run that off the face of the bat down to fine leg for another boundary. All of a sudden, Scotland just starting to lose their composure here a little bit. This one's swatted, short and swatted through point from Tim David. 3 boundaries in a row, and it's a runner ball now, 14 off 14, and Australia are looking like winning this game in a counter. Well, the Scottish fans can't believe what they're seeing. All of a sudden, they were well on top, Scotland, but that's not a good delivery from Wheel. Too short into the body, and Tim David, all he needed to do was just to swap that like sort of a tennis forehand sort of shot through point for 4. Wheel is in. This one full and onto the pads. And an easy single from David. He'll just work it out to deep mid wicket. That's all Australia need to do now to run a ball. 13 off 13. They've got this game back on their terms. Yeah, Scotland, they'll be disappointed. How costly. The drop catch of Travis Head was costly. He went on to make 60. They dropped him early, Scotland. The what ifs. What if we could have caught Travis Head early? It could have been a different outcome. But they've done so well today, Scotland. I think they should be proud. Regardless of the result, I think they should be proud of their efforts today. They've played some really good cricket. Wheel is in. And this one, Head works it out to backward square leg. He's looking for a single, but Tim David says no. Let's not risk a run out here. So end of a very successful over for Australia. And they are 5 for 168. 2 overs remaining. And Australia well on track to top the group, knock out Scotland, and for England, qualify for the Super 8s. Which I think England would be very grateful for Australia. It could have been Scotland's game to win. But Tim David, since he's come in, 3 boundaries in that last over, quick succession, has really got Australia back to a run of ball, 13 off 12. 2 overs remain. Australia will just be looking to pick off singles, hit the odd boundary, finish it off, maybe within an over. I won't be surprised if Tim David finishes it off in this over. Just only 13 off the last 2 overs required. Sharif is back. This one full and slashed away by David. Good fielding by the short third man fielder. And they only pick up a single. Australia showing their strength and their skill and talent. And Scotland, they've done so well to stay in this game. They've picked up wickets at crucial times. This game has swung back and forth. But unfortunately for Scotland, Australia just too good in the end, you would say. As Sharif is in, this one on leg stump, and Matthew Wade just works it around backward square leg. He'll pick up 2. And Australia just need 10 off 11. 10 off 10 to win. So run a ball. Sharif in. This one, a switch hit from Wade. He wanted to play the switch hit, and in the end, it's a play and a miss through the keeper. No run. 10 off 9 required for Australia. 5 for 171, and Australia are well on track to win this game now. Travis Head's innings, Marcus Stoinis' innings, the partnership. Scotland, they had their moments. They dropped the catch of Travis Head, which was crucial in the end. Sharif in. This one short pulled by Wade, and he will get that out to a deep backward square leg for a single. 9 off 8. Australia just picking off the singles one by one, and they don't need to take any risks. They've pretty much got this game sewn up. Tim David and Matthew Wade looking to finish off the job and to get Australia over the line in what has been a very entertaining match of cricket between these two sides. Sharif in, this one a full toss and pulled by David. The fielder at deep square leg would cut it off, and they'll come back for another couple of runs. 7 runs required off 7 balls. Well, thanks everyone for joining us. It's been a very entertaining match, it has to be said. Credit to Scotland, who have played really well today, but unfortunately for them, Australia just too good in the end. Travis Head showing his class and Marcus Stoinis as well. And I think Australia can take a lot from their performances going through to the Super 8s next week. Sharif, this one is well outside off stump. It's going to be called wide by the umpire. Extra run, extra delivery. It's now 6 off 7, so one blow will do it. If Tim David wants to finish it off here, he can. Hit a big 6 to wrap it up and cement Australia's position on top of the table in Group B. And for England, they're pretty much through. Sharif in, and this one full and wide outside off stump, and David hits it straight back to Sharif, who is claiming that he ricocheted it back onto the stumps, and they scamper through for a single. I think they're going to check to see if Sharif got a bit of a hand on it. I'm not sure if they are. I don't think he did. In the end, that's the end of the over. The over 5 for 175. One over remaining. Five off 6. 5 for 176 Australia are. One over remaining. They need 181 to win. They're well on track to chase that down now. Scotland, can they take it to a super over? You never know. But Australia, you would think, should be able to chase down the runs from here. So it's going to be Wheel to finish off proceedings. He's in, full, into the pads, this delivery. And David works it out to the leg side for an easy single. 4 from 5 for Australia to win. Scotland still believing that they can take this to a super over, or they can defend 4 runs from 5 deliveries. It's going to be a tough ask, but you never know. Funny things have happened. So everyone out on the outfield, everyone back on the boundary rope. Deep backward square leg. They've got a backward point. They've got a short third man, a fine leg, a deep mid wicket, a long on, long off. So Scotland pushing everyone out to stop those boundaries, but you've also got to balance that with some fielders inside the circle as well. So you don't want to prevent those easy singles from being taken. So here we go. Wheel in to Wade. This one, Wade works it out to long on for another easy single. Australia doing it easily. 3 or 4. Well on track to chase down Scotland's 180. It's been a very good game of cricket. It's been entertaining. We've seen some great batting from both sides. We've seen some good bowling as well. It's been a very entertaining match. Sadly, in this T20 World Cup, Wheel is in. This one short, pulled high and long into the sky from David. Drop catch by the fielder at deep square leg. They come back for 2. And Australia need 1 run to win. Scores are level. 3 balls remaining in this game. Australia just need 1 run to win. Drop catch from Sol, I think it was, out there at deep square leg. David hit that high and long into the sky. And the fielder there settled underneath it, but just couldn't connect with the catch. And the Scotland supporters oohs and ahs. And there's one England supporter there who's saying, thank the Lord that Australia have got over the line here. Well, they have, and therefore Scotland are knocked out, unfortunately. Unlucky for Scotland. They deserved a place in the Super 8s. They've played well in this tournament, but I suppose that's just the way it goes. When you're in tournament play, these things pan out the way they do. Possibly the last ball of the match. Wheel is in. This one full, and David finishes it off in style. He pulls this over the rope for 6 onto the hill here in St. Lucia. And it's gone over the rope for 6. Australia win by 5 wickets. And they top the group. Scotland are knocked out. England will advance to the Super 8s. And all the talk about Australia manipulating the result against Scotland, well, Scotland had a chance of winning this game, but Australia have prevailed in the end, too strong for Scotland, and Australia will be very happy with that performance going into the Super 8s. And Tim David finishes it off in style. What a way to finish it off. And Australia will be very delighted with that result. They were behind in this match, but they found a way to come back. Travis Head, Marcus Stoinis in that partnership, both of their innings were crucial. Scotland, they dropped Travis Head early on. That proved to be costly in the end because Travis Head's contribution. And unfortunately for Scotland, they had a chance, but as we see with associate nations, the gap is slowly closing. And T20 cricket does provide that closing of the gap between full members and associate nations. We've seen that in this World Cup. In some games, not all the games, but some games like tonight, we've seen that. But let's not take anything from Scotland. I think they played really well in this tournament, and especially in this game. They should hold their heads up high, I should say. They'll be disappointed. They're not going through to the Super 8s, but I think for them, I think for Scotland, I think, this is progress. This is progress. And I think they should be delighted with how they played in this tournament. And I think, who knows, in a couple of years' time, we could be seeing Scotland causing a few surprises in the next T20 World Cup, which will be in 2 years from now. Handshakes all round as both teams shake each other's hands and say, well played and congratulations and bad luck and all the best. Australia will be pleased, but also maybe a little bit probably not happy with a few areas of their game, but nonetheless, they got the win. That's the main thing. And let's have a recap of what happened. Travis Head, 68, top scored. 59 for Stoinis, good partnership. Tim David did well to finish off in the end with 24 or 14 with Matthew Wade. And Australia finished their innings at 5 for 186, chasing 181 they need for victory, and they got the job done in the end. For Scotland, their bowlers were pretty good. They did well to pick up wickets at crucial times. 2 wickets for Watt and Sharif, a wicket for Will, no wickets for Lisk, Sol and Greaves, but they all did their job in some form and capacity. And in the end, Australia winning. Scotland 5 for 180 from their 20 overs. Australia 5 for 186. They won with 2 balls to spare, winning by 5 wickets. They topped the group. Scotland are knocked out. They don't progress to the Super 8s. And for England, they go through to the Super 8 stage. And I think they'll be thanking Australia a lot after this game. It was definitely an exciting game of cricket nonetheless. John says, same old Aussies, always cheating. I think not. England, a written apology in the sun is expected. Well, yes, there was a lot of talk about that, John, of course, the manipulation of results and all that. But I think for Australia, they'll be pleased to get the job done. And, they're one of the best teams in this tournament, and they've shown that tonight, that they are capable of coming back from very difficult situations. The Unknown says, what a catch drop. You never forget that in a lifetime. Yes, well, Travis Head was dropped. I can't remember what the score was with Travis Head, but he was dropped early on. How costly of a drop catch that was for Scotland. He went on to make 60-odd, good partnership with Stoinis, and pretty much, decided the game, really. And I think Scotland would look back on that and say, yeah, that was a costly drop catch. The Unknown says the Tim David catch. Yeah, I wouldn't say the Tim David one was really a costly drop. More like the Travis Head one was a costly one, really. Not so much with Tim David, because that was towards the end and Australia were destined to win. But if you want to talk about a drop catch that probably had an impact on this game, it probably would have been the Travis Head drop, which was costly for Scotland in the end. I think Travis Head was dropped on, before double figures, I think. So Anyway, that's just the way it goes, I suppose. So pretty much decided this game. So Australia winning by 5 wickets, 2 balls to spare, and disappointment for Scotland. But as I said, they should be proud of their efforts in this World Cup. I think they've played some really good cricket. So Group B is now done and dusted. We'll have a recap of Group B and where everyone finished on the table. Just to recap, everyone. Australia on top, 4 wins from 4. England qualified because of net run rates in second place. Scotland in third. Namibia and Oman in 4th and 5th. So that's the end of Group B, and we're one step closer to the Super 8s, which begin next week. Well, thanks everyone for joining us. What a game of cricket. Exciting game between Australia and Scotland. In the end, Australia just too strong for Scotland, and just showed why they're one of the best teams to win this T20 World Cup in 2024. John says, until next time. Yes, John, until next time. We'll see you back next time for the Super 8s, hopefully, which begin next week with Australia playing in the Super 8s. But thank you, everyone, for joining us today. I hope you enjoyed this game between Australia and Scotland. It was certainly an entertaining match of cricket. I hope everyone enjoyed it. And thank you so much for joining us today. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Make sure you click the bell so you don't miss out on all the episodes of the podcast. Follow us on Twitter and on Instagram. And the podcast is available on Anchor, Spotify, and on Apple Podcasts. Thanks, everyone, for joining. Until next time, keep safe and bye for now.